Hey, now people can hear me. Hi. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Star Trek Lexington, last of the line. It's been a minute or two, or a few 100,000. How y'all doing? Good? Good. Alright, so right now it is just me and the impeccable Mr. Fish. Tim will be joining a bit later. He had something else come up, but he will be here soon. Chris will be out, and we have no idea about good Captain Skips. So I'm actually going to ping him just to check. But
What do you mean? He's right here. Hey, it's me, Mr. Crystal.
Oh dear, here we go again.
Off to a strong start, if I have to say anything
We're
about
off to a fantastic start. And he's got his. I think he has his Discord on Do Not Disturb. So, and I think he got a new phone number. So, oh well. Yeah, well, we'll get started at some point. And now we have to vamp for however long it takes. Yay! It's the most thrilling stream ever.
Let's see. I did add a few more things to. I added like one thing to the list to make it actually 6.
Oh, of in batshit insane ideas for how to fix
Yes.
the.
Well, it's at this point it's less fixing and more of just like skirting by at this point. So this is like the fallback of the fallback of the fallback.
Yes, each one gets progressively worse.
Yes. Well, the other ones are kind of actually. This one is basically. So the other ones are actual solutions. This is now just starting to get into lying territory.
Lying.
Yeah. So you remember how you said about making something that could keep the tree alive?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's like almost all of the ideas, but here it's just like if all those other ideas fail, we just have two other options. One is a cellular stagnation device, which is basically a device that it's basically, it sounds worse than it is, but it's a device that I'm thinking I could make where it slows down the aging process and deterioration of the tree.
So it's kind of like dying, but people won't notice for a while.
Yes, it could
Gosh.
vastly prolong the tree's lifespan, though it will slowly die. Long enough at least to get them, out of their dying solar system, back home and in and back in good old Federation space.
And then the entire religion collapses and the society devolves into anarchy.
Well, the Federation will be there to fix that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
also, I mean, to be fair, everyone dies in a giant burning pile of fire and plasma. Social upheaval. There is, it's not a great cookie no matter how you slice it. But it's still better than the alternative. Uh, and here's the alternative: just straight up steal it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of solutions, and every single one you come up with, I will be able to think of what a good consequence will be, because that's the way a good game works, right?
Yes.
If you steal their sacred Ursuline ore, yeah.
Well, that's why we have the meat slug battery powered by Denzite scrap.
Oh, right, that thing.
That is meant to be economic, if nothing else.
Yeah.
We have the amplifier, the resonator device that's meant to, resonator device at medium I didn't spell really well, but also it's kind of just my own, like, basically it's cliff notes that I have to decipher. Like, what did I mean by that? I'm like,
Yes,
oh yeah, this.
you're having to decipher your own writing, which you're.
Well, it's either I make a cliff note of it, or I write 5 paragraphs to describe each individual device.
That's.
I picked the cliff note version.
That. Yeah.
So basically, one of the solutions was to make a device that could resonate with the tree in order to generate the wormhole through it.
Right.
It would require us to make contact with the tree, or at least be nearby it, depending on how we can get if we can pick up on the waves just by proximity, or does it have to be actually installed, is still up to being discovered. I know that I outsourced some help from the good old Mr. No Lungs. I don't say that name because
good old
I don't say it because I don't want to say Detrone. I say it because I keep forgetting his name's Detrone.
I do that sometimes. I'm terrible. On the occasions that I have watched anime, I cannot remember Japanese names to save my life.
Yeah.
I just can't. So I call them by their descriptions, like pink hair girl, or dude with glasses,
guy with the shadow powers.
Or I don't usually watch that kind. But yes, you get the idea.
Naruto?
Nope.
Shikamaru, I think it was. No? Fair.
No.
Tis a classic.
Girl who got her head bitten off. That was a great one.
Oh, is that Madoka Magica?
Yeah, that show traumatized me, man. I'm actually not kidding. That show disturbed me.
I think anime traumatized me at such a young age that I'm numb to it now. I always had like anime, or I just had like shows on as like on my TV just to sleep, and so when I woke up it would be on like anime, and I'd just see someone get like their head ripped off. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's great. Time to change the channel. Goes from Scooby-Doo to Full Metal Alchemist. It's a great experience.
Yeah, well, honestly, the thing in the FMA, the girl and the dog, to avoid spoilers for the people who aren't watching, who may not have watched it, that was just more like kind of like a upsetting thing, but that didn't linger with me because I don't really care for kids or dogs, so I don't really care. But apparently something about like teenage or preteen girls signing pacts with basically Satan and getting their souls corrupted, that disturbs me. Yeah, so I don't know, man.
For me, it's usually like the heat death of the universe thing. For me, that was what I was like, oh, that's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
So how are we gonna turn this tree powered by space rocks into into a
device.
dimension gun?
God. Yeah. Okay. So when you first opening the veil, when you first mentioned that, I'm like, no, this can't happen. But now I'm thinking, if it's creative enough, if I got to give you the chance at least.
If I just keep throwing ideas at the wall, one of them will stick.
Yeah. Now, if that does happen, there's still going to have to be some complications because that's going to make it way too simple. So
Yeah, but I
something's
mean,
going to have to happen.
if one group of seven groups doesn't like me, that's just democracy, okay? That's just how it's.
Well, there's
You can't
actually
make
only
everybody happy.
there's
Sometimes you
only
gotta.
four, no, five.
Hey, as long as 51% agrees with me, that's the majority, baby.
So 3 out of 5.
Honestly, it just has to be like two and one sub faction within the other faction.
Well, remember, there's 5. There's Mondstack, Liua, Inazura, Sumera, and Shenzia. So
Can I say that when I got my coworker, my good old pal, Detrone. See, I remembered this time. Yeah, I got Detrone to help, kind of discuss stuff about the tree. Can we get do you maybe bring some books or info just on the history of it so I can get some more information on who this would affect? Like, is it like everyone on the planet, or is it just more of a particular faction or slash region?
no, it's all right. So the tree has existed for as long as there is recorded history in
Okay.
Sumera. But there's a mythology that the original Sumerian Archon came from a seed of the tree. Now, there's no
Okay.
verifying this because, especially after the war 500 years ago, a whole lot of stuff before that, no one has any idea. But that's just what the legend is. So the entire religion of Sumera centers around that tree heavily. It's basically it isn't God to them, but basically it gave birth to God. So it's almost think like the Mother Mary, but it's to a millionth degree, in a sense.
Okay.
And in
Well,
case you're wondering, I just made all of that up on the spot.
that is fair.
But it all works.
Hey, it's not grave robbing if they're not dead. Am I right?
Yeah. You would not believe how much of everything that's happened has, I'd say a good 80% of everything that's happened has been just either an invention on the spot or based on just a vague idea that I'm just pulling out of nowhere. And I love doing that.
That's 20% more than any of the things I've done.
Yes. Oh, I can tell there's absolutely no forethought in anything that Fish does.
I mean, there's a theme. There's like a
Theme, yes.
trajectory. Yes.
Trajectory, yes. Plan, no.
Mm. Yeah, plan isn't exactly something I like to. It's just a it's a plan is such a dirty word, you know.
Like, do I look like a guy with a plan?
Okay, so
So,
do we have any sort of layout of guards? Do we know about anyone who is there any active protection, or is it more of just like an agreed upon
that you
like
don't know.
okay.
And Kaino doesn't specifically know either. If you were to
Tyrone,
ask
what's your
him.
thoughts?
What?
Mr. No Lungs, what's your thoughts on do you know
Oh,
anything on it?
the Trone. He'll
The tr-
also tell you no. That's something he knows of it, but he's never had a reason to put any research. I think he mentioned this last time. This is not something he's researched at all. He has no notes or
You
anything on
mentioned
it.
that he left his research notes at his lab, which was destroyed.
Yes.
That he did have. So one of the possible solutions I suggested.
Oh, right.
I didn't say was the brain wrenching
Right.
to get the
And I
memories.
think if you mentioned it to him, he would have been like, he saw what happened to that one alien.
You
He's
know,
not
that was definitely a discussion. But all I'm saying is it's practically harmless.
unless you explode.
Yeah, but again, you have to be a corpse to do that. I mean, you might get a pretty bad headache, but it's definitely not going to result in brain explosions or permanent damage, as far as I'm aware, at least.
I
We've used it
mean,
on we've used it on some actual people before. The worst they got was a headache.
uh, uh, no.
That's true. We know. I mean, the corpse exploded, but that was because Crystal did it, and also we used it
Still,
on.
still,
We used it on cat.
still. A cat,
No
yeah,
cat.
like, CJ.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, you're not going to be able. I mean, you're talk to the archons. You get some information there, but most likely you're not going to be able to get any. Although, actually, let me check the notes. There are some Sumerian scientists on board. Remember that we took them with us to try to work on the wormhole stuff. Also, like when we got the Denzite and everything.
I guess I should start by asking them how religious they are.
Um, they're all going to tell you that to various degrees, they're all at least somewhat religious, but one is extremely.
Okay, I kind of just tell that guy to go outside for a second.
God.
Exactly, that's the topic. Uh,
Damn it. I walked right into that.
so so basically, yeah, it would just be a question of, so how do you feel about saving the planet?
They're all going to say, well, that's why we're here.
Okay, so did you prioritize saving the planet over committing literal treason?
They're all going to go dead silent. I'm going to say, the most senior of the three is going to, she's going to say, we're going to need more specifics before we go any farther with that.
No, I meant literal tree sin. We're gonna kill a tree basically. Maybe. It's probably gonna be fine, but like it's definitely gonna be a sin against the tree.
You're not talking about the great tree, are you?
I mean, I don't know how great it is exactly, but it's I mean, it's gonna be a great experience for us to take out that ore while keeping it safe.
What are you proposing?
I'm proposing a series of ideas, and I like pull out a board and I give the reasonable ideas first, and I leave the other ones like covered by a sheet that's just called "In case of emergency, pull paper down." Um, so it's like we have a couple ideas to extract the ore in order to make a device that can properly save your world.
Actually, it's
Uh,
23 Sumerian scientists. It was
20,
4 in Azure and 23 Sumerian. So.
well, now it's 22, so that's fine.
Yes.
Nice even number. And basically, I'm gonna go over the non-crazy ideas like the amplifier, the resonator, the ring siphoner, and I'll leave out the meat slug, the cellular stagnation device, the just straight up steal it, and the tunneling tech worms and meat slugs. I think I said that right. Okay, so I'm basically just going to discuss the possibilities of extracting the ore or using the tree itself as a sort of conduit for the energy in order to help create a device to get their planet back. And then I'm also going to heavily emphasize the fact that if we don't do this, not only is the tree going to be completely destroyed, but every single other person that stays on the planet and everything else on the planet. Matt!
He exists! Oh my good!
Yay!
I thought you had abandoned us, Captain Skips. I'm happy you're back.
It's been an interesting however long it's been.
How? So what was the last thing you remember happening? Because I can read you the session notes.
Um, it, uh, Um, the last session I was in was like just after, like it was a conversation between us and uh, I think it was the yellow delegation, or was it red? It was some kind of delegation
Uh,
that they. No, no, it was when Tim had talked to. I think it was the Ardestian,
okay.
agreeing on where to have the um the peace talks.
Okay, that was one of the Lestrans.
It
But
was
yeah,
Lestrans.
yes, the yellows.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you haven't missed that much then. I thought it was before that. So
Oh, I missed a whole bunch before that too.
okay,
Should
Um,
okay, all right. Let's let
should we tell him about the SOC? Okay,
yeah, we'll get to that. So okay, we're waiting
we'll
on
tell him
Tim.
about that later. Got it.
We're waiting on Tim. So let me get you up to speed real quick.
okay, first thing I need to know: am I still acting captain?
Yes, the senior staff are all still incapacitated. When
You
we
might.
rescued them from that ship, they had all been experimented on, and so they were in all various states of being catatonic.
Oh.
You might have a contender for the position, but that'll be a secret for now.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, I
We'll
want it to
get to
kind of
that.
happen organically in his actions. And
Yes. So, all right.
Okay,
So,
it's not fish, is it?
no,
no, God no.
Okay.
but it is related.
It
I'm
unfortunately is.
completely fine with it as long as it's not fish.
Okay. All right. So,
At least
Uh,
so far.
I'm just gonna read over this. I'm just gonna give you it. Stop me if you have any questions. Just try to get you caught up. So we rescued the senior staff. Fish successfully stabilized all of them except for the Andorian, Cess, the chief engineer. Uh, Now we run from the Ardestian ships. However, we find that there are multiple Lestran and Ardestian ships on an intercept course. But we get contacted by a group run by Lieutenant Vell, who was the. This group was the characters that were in that like one shot thing we did, like the tabletop gaming weekend. That it was mainly
Yes.
yeah, it was so them. They contact us, tell us a way to harmonize the shields that we can hide from the sensors. We meet up with them. That's all fun. They tell us about their situation, what happened there, like with discovering the facility for mind, goodness, for mind controlling people that had a bunch of humans, including her dad, and a bunch of Farans and Lestrans. So they were also mind controlling yellows and blues. Um, they escaped, blew the place to hell. It was a good time. Let's see. They also give us a device that allows us to communicate directly with the Ardestians. You are not required for that part now. Let's see.
Wait, the Ardestians are the red ones, right?
Correct. And they gave us a device that will allow us to directly communicate with them.
I was never translating for the Ardestians.
Oh, well, yes, but still, you're not required either way for that. So, so don't worry about it. Don't worry. Just
It was telepathic, mindy
up.
stuff.
Yeah, it
Shut
was the whole thing that fish figured out with the the
the
other
computer and all that. Yeah,
Ardestian and
yeah.
oh,
Well, now all that doesn't matter, which is good. Okay.
it was
The,
the one language that I would never be able to
right.
master.
Right. All right. So Detrone, our friend from Tevar, the doctor, stabilized Cess, the Andorian. That was good. So we integrated Vel's team into the crew. There's like there's six of them, plus plus a Farin that they took from the planet just randomly, that we've done nothing about yet.
Wait, the foreign,
The blue.
like,
Blue.
is that someone like who is currently in our brig,
No, he's
Uh,
or
just chilling on the
or
ship.
like part of the crew.
No, he's just chilling. We don't. They were able to find a way to communicate with him, like hand signal wise, basic stuff, but we still don't know how to talk to him, and that's something that you would actually be probably working on. But we'll get to that.
Also, another side question: they're the people from the tabletop weekend thing.
Yep.
They're integrating into our crew. Why are they not making their way back to Tavar?
Or
Wait,
to
that's because the
the Cochranes.
intelligence minister one basically tried to kill them, right?
You got it. Yeah,
Okay.
So they're seeking asylum with us. So it's kind of a we help them help us. So
Cool.
yeah.
Another side question,
Mhm.
because I just thought of it. The humans on our ship, not including the ones that just joined, um, do any of them have any distant relatives on um, Terra 2?
That's not been investigated, but if you want to, you can look into it.
Okay. I just, like, it just dawned on me that, like, we have humans, and humans usually have tracked their lineage.
You realize all that's gonna do is add the potential of adding another Soong, right?
The chances of there being another Soong
Oh God,
are slim to none.
Arik Soong went with them. The guy from Enterprise.
But
no, that didn't happen. I'm not
there
opening that
is-
can of worms.
there's only one person that I would say is as close to a Soong as I am willing to admit, and that is the Secretary of Science. The one that Fish can't stand.
You just gave me way too good of an idea, damn it. No.
I like to think that because I have this thought that Soongs can't stand Soong. They're like beta fish.
Damn it, Matt, stop writing my story for me. Because this absolutely has to happen now. Okay, I'll work on this. Just give me a little time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so if you do some research, you will find that actually, yes, one of your distant... yeah, actually, Arik Soong's brother was on that ship that disappeared. He was one of the colonists. Yes. Let's see. He was. I'll think of a funny name later. I'm not going to do it on the spot. But yes. Okay. So congratulations. You're actually very distantly related to the Secretary of Science. Which, if you did a little research, so we'll know that out of character. In character, you have no idea. But if you do research, you'll find out. So congratulations. That's fun. Okay. Let's get back to the recap. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we were able to convince the Ardestian that we actually have on the ship to help us retrieve Denzite from Gehenna.
Nice.
As long as we don't kill or hurt any Ardestians. If that happens, he will back out. And then we received a reply from Lord Cladu. You probably know this part. So he agrees to a diplomatic meeting with the Cochranes. We set the date, but we told the Cochranes, and they're going to get back with us as far as where and when that's going to happen. That's going to come later. We're able to decipher the message sent by... so at the end of the of the tabletop campaign, they took all the data that they got from the Ardestian facility and sent it to the Secretary of Intelligence. That message erased itself upon being sent, but we were able to recover about 80% of it, between it being partially corrupted, it having been erased, and partially encrypted. So the part that we got, 80%, it gives an incomplete list of people who are presently being mind controlled. The program has already taken off. So there are people, a large number of people actually, Farans and Lestrans, who are being mind controlled. And there are some humans as well. Unfortunately, you weren't. The data was incomplete enough. You don't know specifically who. Um, let's see. I had that written down somewhere.
Now, the encryption,
Uh,
is that a Terran encryption or the
no, it's
Ardestian
Ardestian.
encryption?
Ardestian encryption.
And the Ardestian that we've had on our ship that's not his forte.
We've done this is as far as you're going to get the message. It has
Cool.
been gone as far as it possibly can. So,
Okay.
let's see. All right. So, prominent subjects that were listed in there. Let's see. There's the. All right. Let me just copy and paste it into Roll20, just so you can see it, because me trying to read it off would be a pain.
And it would probably take a while, wouldn't?
No, it wouldn't take a while. It's just kind of hard to describe. All right, so you're going to see there's parts of this that are in parentheses. Those are where it's like either the translation is shaky or it's like missing data or something.
Oh. I thought there would be more.
Well, there's a lot more, but these are the only ones that really seem like really stand out to you.
Okay.
Those last two are the only Cochranes mentioned.
Okay. And have we met any of the Cochranes which have the title of director?
I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to give it away.
Well, because
you may or may not have met this person.
Because I know we've met the secretaries, the president, and then
I think it's
captains.
the president's sister, isn't it?
No, the president's sister's
no,
captain.
she's just captain. I can't remember her name.
So this is the vice director of something. That's all. That's what it appears to be.
And it sounds like it's something similar to the word effort. Like it sounds similar.
Yeah, or something of similar meaning.
Oh, similar meaning. Right, because it's a translation.
So I'll let you stew on that one. You might be able to figure out if you've met this person or not. I don't know, or maybe you've yet to meet them. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't put it if it wasn't important, but I'm not going to give you any more direction than that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take the fun out of it. So
one more question before we move on. The security armada, whatever you want to call it, what are they called?
Security armada?
Like the basically we had like 14 of their ships chasing us at one point. What is their what's that group called?
You have no idea. That's not in this.
No, it wouldn't be in like that. But like I thought like the person said that they were like a person high up in the whatchamacallit.
I'm so lost right now.
It's
Start over,
like,
please.
It's been a while. Okay. You remember when I wanted to slingshot the warp core off into the distance? You remember that combat scenario?
Was this in the nebula? Or after?
No.
When we disabled
Before.
it?
Oh, are you talking? You're talking you're talking the Cochranes.
Yes.
Oh, that's like the planetary defense fleet, I think.
Okay. Planetary defense fleet. That makes sense.
Red Wedding.
because that last line makes me think that a couple of the captains have been compromised
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
within the planetary defense fleet.
Okay.
Um,
Most definitely.
but there is one person that I'm sure is not compromised, and that is the one that tried to kill us.
Yeah, probably.
The one that tried to blow himself up just so that he try in a way to try to take us out.
You
Right.
know, seeing as how he's the most suspicious person to be brainwashed, I have to believe he also is not brainwashed.
Yes, I'm not that obvious, am I? Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. Another thing they find out is apparently Princess Edgalar or Empress Edgalar and the Ardestian like high count like the uppers are unaware of this project because there's notes in there saying specifically on trying to keep this information underground. So
Have we shared
this is a
this?
shadow operation.
If we made this public, would it actually like benefit the whole?
Well,
Or
that's
did we
one of
like
the
have a
things
discussion?
in the last session that was being debated is how to use this information or whether to use it just yet. Maybe reveal it at the conference with the Farin or with the Lestrins, like with Lord Cladu and the Cochrans. Um, so yeah, you and Tim were debating that. And now Matt being here, he can also bring his input onto what to do with it. But we'll get to that. We're not to that point in the conversation yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so yes.
So
All right.
basically, the Ardestians have their own.
Section 31, it seems.
Oh, I was gonna say secretive Illuminati-esque minister or secretary of intelligence.
Or that. I mean, it's you don't know what the hierarchy is, what this falls under, but all you know is they specifically are trying to keep this from the mainline government.
Yeah.
They're operating unauthorized. So, okay. So we've agreed we're going to retrieve the Denzite from Gehenna. That's where we're headed toward before we meet with the Farans. And so we have this call. You and Sorab talk to Lord Cladu, who agrees to have that diplomatic meeting between them and the Cochrans. It's going to happen on March 10th. At that point, the location had not been set. You had to call the Cochrans and talk to them, and both sides are going to debate it out. There were a few places that were proposed. Let's see. All right, so yeah, that happened. That happened. I already mentioned that. Okay, so the last session, Fish created Little Crystal.
No,
I'm
it's Mr.
sorry.
Crystal.
What?
Mr. Crystal.
Sorry, Mr. Crystal. So you know
So
how this little
can we
Sorab.
before we go into detail, can we just say that like he walks into the for main area,
Bridge?
the bridge, yes. As you do, if you look towards your chair, sitting in your chair, you see a sock puppet slowly turn towards you with its googly eyes, with like a vague rendition of your appearance, like a cat sock puppet.
Like, is it moving on its own, or
Yes.
is it attached to somebody?
It is like a sock puppet attached to like a metal stump that's completely independent.
Whether or not there's any meat in there, we will not confirm nor deny.
But the answer is probably
Now,
yes.
the question is, the main question is, who is on the bridge?
Just like the staff that are necessary to maintain operations right now, I guess.
Because, like, is there a actual commanding officer who would be
Just
maintaining the bridge,
generic
or
officer at this point, for lack of player to be in that role. Right now, at the present, you and Sorab would be discussing what to do now with the information that I've yet to get to.
okay, because my first instinct in hearing that, as someone who I've seen way too much sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
so as a player, my first instinct is vaporize it. Vaporize it with prejudice.
As you kind of like look at it though, it says, well, looks like someone made a clone of Mr. Crizzle.
Jesus Christ.
He's very confident that he's the real real one.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so that
Um,
happened.
uh,
Yeah,
and that is why clones were outlawed.
one of the reasons.
Exactly. For a clone, you're pretty smart at knowing that you're an outlawed existence.
Let's see. Oh, that's not correct. Okay. So we're moving right along. Okay, so the next thing you'll find.
By the way, it is made of some of your DNA, so it technically is kind of you.
Yeah, that happened too. Okay.
How did he even, or
Hairballs.
probably, how did you get them?
I imagine you leave a lot of hair around.
Why can't I delete this? Okay. I'll know it later.
Plus, I'm also a doctor, so I imagine there's at least some DNA samples in, like, just the labs for, in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. My DNA sequence is probably in the computer somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So if you'll look at the map, I screwed up the date. All right. So we get calls from like within a few minutes of each other. Calls from both the Lestrans and the Cochrans on their thoughts on where to meet, and it turns into a three-way conference call. So President Blevins and the senior council meet Lord Cladu and the other lords. So it it was an interesting conversation. Whole lot of stuff like conversation went back and forth. But basically, they agreed to the location. If you look at the map, it's like below the Archer Nebula. There's a point like right on the line there. All the specifics for how that's going to work, like how many ships can be there, like exclusion zones. One reason they wanted it that far away from blue or foreign territory is they're afraid about cloaked foreign ships trying to intervene. But being as close as it is to red territory, we can see the Reds coming, the Ardessians coming, so they weren't as worried about that. So that was set for March 10th, so we have our location for it. All right. Now, the most interesting thing, the last thing, this is what was really being debated, is the Cochrans, after the call ends with the Lestrans, let us know they found more Denzite. The stuff that we're having to go to Gehenna for. Just take a wild guess. Oh, actually, you wouldn't know. Just guess where it is.
Please tell me that they did not find Denzite on Terra 2.
No, they found it on Tevar. They were just scanning and found it. There's a problem, though.
Which nation is it underneath?
Sumera.
Is that the one where no one actually knows what their leader looks like?
No, that's Shenzia. That's the cold one. Sumera is the very tropical one, like the rainforest, but also has deserts.
Oh.
Yeah. led by Lord Kusanari. Um, so they found it in Sumera, located under a gigantic tree, like known as the Great Tree, which is
Oh,
the most
there.
holy site in the Sumerian religion. Like, think Mecca on steroids.
I. As soon as you said that, all I can think of is in every fantasy setting and how the elves look at their world tree,
Uh-huh.
at their Yggdrasil.
Yes. Well, basically, in their mythology, the tree laid a seed that was the first Sumerian archon. So basically, this tree is Mother Mary to the millionth degree. So it's not God, but it
It's
provided
pretty
God.
close.
Yes, it is.
So I have a couple of solutions to
Yes,
this.
because the issue is like you. There's only like a once a year pilgrimage to the tree site. There's a 1 kilometer exclusion zone in every direction, and then for like 50 kilometers beyond that, it's very restricted on access to it. It's like they take this very seriously.
Yeah.
But they found is that the tree grows because of the Denzite. That's why it's so gigantic. So Fish has been thinking of all sorts of non-ethical solutions. One of
I mean,
which
it's
was
not that they're
including
unethical.
turning the tree and using it as the wormhole device.
I mean, most of them kind of do, but that's all. Hey, Tim agreed. One of that, a lot of that's actually Tim's agreement. I
Um,
mean, I have other alternatives, but those were the ones actually Tim didn't agree with, so
well,
I haven't shared those yet.
I hear so many problems with that
Mm-hmm.
because one, um, the Tavarans would never agree.
Well, it's the Sumerans that would have the issue.
I, they are still Tavarans.
Well, yes. You don't know what the other four nations are going to say.
Yeah,
So
but again, think about democracy. You
Yeah.
only need 51%,
Mhm.
and we have like can easily get 80.
Technically, you do not need 51%. You need 50% plus one.
Just
There is a
yes.
difference.
Like 50.0000000.
So what you're telling me is we need even less. You're just making my idea even better.
And second of all, I'm pretty sure that the um, Federation Code of Conduct says um, not to completely try to obliterate the cultural center of a species that you
Hey,
are trying to induct into the
I'll have you.
Federation.
I'll have
Any
you know, none
species.
of these, except maybe one of them, has anything to do with destroying their site.
Hmm.
And again, so all these have ways of theoretically, assuming it goes, it goes to plan, which is how all of them assume. It should work where we can maintain the site to varying degrees depending on which plan we select. Um, and work things out. But in the end, there it is just the big thing of a single tree letting the entire planet be turned into a giant molten ball of fire. Save everybody at the cost of a tree.
And
Horribly agonizing, instantaneous vaporization.
aren't the Sumerans also the ones that said that they were willing to die rather than uprooting their culture?
Yep.
Yeah, but the other 50%
Yeah.
plus one didn't agree to that, so the vast majority.
So, uh, basically, you
Democracy.
want to ostracize and antagonize
That's all he ever does.
fifth
Is ostracize and antagonize.
of the entire planet
No.
that we are trying to bring into the Federation.
No, Matt. You don't get it. Let me start with this plate. Okay, so it has to do with meat slugs and being used as batteries. Okay, it's gonna sound great. Okay, so what we do is we genetically modify a meat slug-like creature to power itself off of the Denzite scraps in order to act as sort of like a recycling battery. Then we plug these meat slugs into the wormhole device in order to create a portal out of, just throw a planet through. And we wouldn't even have to touch the tree. That is the safest plan we have, because it would just
It wouldn't
utilize
work.
scraps from the decayed Denzite and seeing a way of revitalizing it.
It would not work
How do you know? Are
Because
you a crazy scientist?
because why is it that the radioactive densite works, but the non-radioactive densite does not?
Because it hasn't been filtered through meat slug biology.
Because
you
of the
see how the-
radioactivity.
God.
I mean,
Because
that's the
without-
thing.
Without the densite radioactively, that specific frequency.
That's what but the meat slugs generate it by eating the Denzite scraps. They take the scraps, and then their biology produces the radiation.
But you're missing one thing.
Hmm.
The scraps don't have the radioactivity.
They do have trace core components. So if we can scan the original radiation, which I assume we still know what the wavelength is, try to replicate it through a cellular symbiotic relationship with the scrap in order to create a sort of like photosynthesis-like effect, but with an actual, the actual Denzite scraps to work as a sort of catalyst, we can induce a similar radioactive signal within the meat slugs.
So
The
this is
science-
all
science
theory
of-
that's going to have to be tested at some
It
point
is,
if
but
we
it-
get there via rolls. That we're not going to
The
solve
dots
this one
may
today.
connect very strangely, but they do connect nonetheless.
Okay.
Also, so do you want me to tell the more so now that I've broken the ice with what I consider to be the safest plan, do you want me to move on to the more to the other plans?
For
Oh, no.
time's sake, what we're going to do is the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to be getting a call from Tavar concerning this. Actually, no, you're going to call Tavar was what the thing was going to be, I believe, to discuss this issue. The fact that what might be able to save their planet and get us all home is currently sitting under their most sacred site. And what
And the Lexington is still traveling toward Gehenna,
yes.
correct? And
So
what's the time until we would get to Gehenna versus the time it would take us to get back to Tavar?
Oh, you're way closer to Gehenna.
Okay.
It's like a few weeks from Tavar. You're less than a week from Gehenna
also we scheduled the event.
for March 10th.
Yeah, so that we had time to go to Gehenna and then Tabar and then the meeting place
Yes.
with a little bit of wiggle room.
Well, the reason I was asking is because if we're closer to Gehenna, then the Denzite underneath the Sumerian megatree is moot.
That's assuming the heist goes well.
I mean, I would assume it would go well, especially since our phasers have a stun setting.
There's only so many space squid ships you can stun before they overwhelm you.
Wide setting stun. End of story.
Ah, yes, the classic 360-degree AoE that all ships come with.
Ah!
Ships? I'm talking on the ground.
Oh, so us versus their ships on a ground battle, or
We're not even
All I'm-
taking
all I'm
we're not
saying
even
is
taking the Lexington all the way to Gehenna.
yeah? I'm just saying
We're gonna-
there's a full army. So if I'm just saying if they detect us at any point, there's gonna be probably more than one fleet. That's probably gonna be on us.
Well, you don't know what ships are there or aren't at the moment.
Obviously, that's true.
Yeah. And the Ardestian we have on board said that he would help us as long as we don't kill any of them.
Or hurt
Correct?
any of them. Like, yeah.
Define hurt.
Cause physical injury. You haven't asked him what that line is.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
whether
we haven't.
stunning counts or not. That was never specified.
Meat slugs aren't looking like such a bad idea now,
Well,
huh?
Yes, they are.
Resident diplomat
hadn't-
Sorab, how would you classify
Am
stunning?
I here for this meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, you were there at the meeting. You were at the meeting last time, so we're basically picking up where we left off, I guess.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, what? What was the question?
On the level of we can't hurt anybody, where does stunning lie?
I mean, okay. That really depends on how. That's a cultural question that you're asking right now, and we have limited knowledge of their culture. However, I will say that being as psionically focused as they are, I imagine anything that creates a break in their psychic history. So, like anything that creates a break of consciousness would probably count to some degree as damage to that. Does stunning create a break of consciousness?
Hey, Red, you want us to shoot you with the stun setting and see how you feel? And then you can give us your opinion on it, if that's fine to use on your allies?
Now, that is a guess. I have no idea what they define as damage. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I don't
'cause-
think we should be surprised if they do count that.
And we could ask to. I mean, the stun setting isn't gonna kill people, right? So we can just use it on him if he lets us to see if he's okay with that.
Yes, but
if he-
based on Sorab's theory,
Which is wild speculation.
Yes.
Let's be very clear about that.
but with
I'm willing to admit when I'm doing wild speculation.
it may be wild speculation, but it's wild speculation based on your years of experience with among other cultures.
Yes.
And that with that theory, it says that they may see a stun blast as
And-
a form of
An induced break of consciousness. Yeah, I just don't know if that counts as a break of consciousness.
Do you want to just ask him if we can stun him
mean,
and if
it
he's
would-
fine with
'Cause,
that?
I mean,
or not?
that's a pretty philosophical issue to get into. Whether or not break of consciousness.
That sounds like
I mean,
something
could
you're not going
shoot
to
him.
solve here. You're going to have to just ask the dude.
Yeah, it's ultimately we're gonna have to ask him.
We can debate
I'm
the,
just-
the
I'm
morality
preparing-
of stunning all
I'm-
day.
I'm not gonna argue it. I'm preparing you for the possibility that he says yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. So the captain so far is saying it looks like we probably just do the Gehenna thing anyway. But
yeah, because we're closer
Yeah.
to Gehenna anyway, and we've already scheduled anything based on going to Gehenna first. So we really don't need to bother the Denzite that is underneath the mega tree on Tavar currently.
Theoretically, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm fine with going to Gehenna.
We can cross the Tavaran tree when we get to it.
More like bore into, but I can agree with that.
So are we just complete? So is this the leading theory on how to get Denzite from the tree? We're completely ignoring the use it as a focus idea.
No. I only mentioned the meat slugs. I still have
Oh,
the
okay.
other ideas, which include yours. But
Alright,
we
good.
just kind of.
I was just gonna ask why is all. If we had learned something. Cool.
But first, how were you planning on using it as a focus to create the wormhole?
It's called the
Uh,
resonator tree device that works as a medium resonator.
We
in
put a
order-
big ring in space so
Oh, yeah,
that
there-
nothing comes within a mile of the tree,
You're right. That was the
and-
ring sphere. It's
and
different.
use the energy and use only use the energy that we need to interact with the tree, and then the tree becomes a focus since it has long strips of denzite in it. That then becomes the focus that the beam to activate the wormhole comes out of.
And is this based on the technology that the Cochranes used to create the wormhole?
This is
and
just
such?
wild speculation. He's just kind of pulling this out of nowhere. He doesn't actually have that in front of him. As best I know.
Listen. It comes from the technology where the stuff happens, and then
What the heck?
and then that it comes from that technology.
Why did I just hear like a dial tone?
What is
It's
this?
the same.
I bleeped myself.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Probably for the same reason your camera's off.
My camera's not
It
off.
was on.
It was off for a moment.
I see you.
I don't see him.
Well, does stream see me? Because
I have no idea.
my camera's definitely on.
Yeah, I
I
see
must-
you.
Yeah.
Oh no, stream does see you. I just don't see
Yeah.
you in the control room.
Yeah, I have a bunch of noise buttons over here now that Carol got me a.
Aw, soundboard?
Fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, Carol got me a soundboard, and one of the sounds is pineapple because I was able to make custom sounds.
Of course. You need one that makes a
Can-
tribble noise.
It makes what?
A tribble noise.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that sounds like.
It's in the episode. You can just
Listen,
look it up.
well, yeah, I'd have to look it up. I don't know if you know this. I've never actually watched the original series.
Guess what?
Hey,
Neither have I.
No, you know what? No, you know what? This is the bit that's gonna piss people off. I have seen significantly more of the animated series than I have the original series.
I have
I don't care.
seen none of that.
I like.
No,
I
but the
think
viewers.
pieces of admittedly most of the series, but I had not in the canonical order.
Well, the animated series gave us the Cations, so I don't know what else to
That's
tell
true.
you.
True. Anyway,
We owe
I am.
Chris will owe
My
existence.
character is standing proof that the animated series can
that's
do no
canon.
wrong.
That's canon, baby.
There's a Chris. There's a Cation in Lower Decks, so apparently yes. But anywho, all right. So what the hell were we talking about?
Oh yeah. So no, the technology is it's a ring composed of normal sort of ring stuff, and then it works by technobabble,
Yes.
which is a staple of Star Trek.
I've been watching so
Okay.
much recently. I'm like, oh my, I could never
So-
do this.
The reason I ask is because currently, as far as I can tell, everything is based, all of the electricity and such is based on Edison type electricity,
Yeah.
whereas the a way
Wireless
of
transmission is Tesla,
exactly.
Yes.
but that's fine. We this is the future. We recognize that Tesla was better than Edison.
That is true. All right.
I
So
mean-
the way the wormhole device worked that I described is that the Denzite channels the energy. It's got like 50-meter long rods, like a whole bunch of them, and that channels the energy to focus it into the wormhole.
So
So the idea is that all we're doing is putting an air gap between the source of the energy and the Denzite rods, and using the tree as the Denzite rods. And we have to design it in a way that doesn't do any damage to the tree. So this design comes from the cultural taboo on anything man-made being within a mile of the tree, and the attempt to avoid damaging the tree by extracting Denzite. So if we just let the tree be the Denzite rods, because it has Denzite in it, and it has, by the xylem and phylum and whatever, it has the long bars of it running all through it. It basically is a long bar of Denzite. If we use that as the focus point, then we can control
One
without
correction.
doing anything man-made.
One correction there. The tree actually does not have Denzite in it. The Denzite is below the tree. What the tree does, it leaches the radiation off of the Denzite.
And what we need is the actual radiation signal in order to utilize it, right?
Is that
Close.
the only
Yeah,
spot?
it's technobabble enough that I
So my theory for making the ring siphoner was effectively what Tim said of like we make a ring above it, and what we can effectively use the tree as is a medium / lightning rod. And in a similar way to how like how lightning works is how electrical particles go up and then down and basically connect in the middle is basically create a sort of like field that can like pull the energy upward in order to create a sort of connection to the two, which would then cause the energy to be fed into the ring, which would then activate the portal, which I assume is what we're going for.
Is
well,
that the
whether
only
or not that
spot-
works will be determined by die rolls if and when the time comes.
Is underneath that tree the only place on the entire planet that has the Denzite?
That they've found, yep.
There's supposedly like very trace amounts, though, didn't you say about like them using it in sacred like equipment or something?
Yes, the ore itself is actually considered sacred as well, and it's used in some relics. But remember, you need like 50-meter long segments, not like little totems.
So another one of the plans is just straight up steal it.
And you're gonna need big pieces of it.
I also have a cellular stagnation device, which is basically we steal the ore, but because the tree needs it to survive, we make a device that slowly it doesn't die immediately. It just slowly dies over a long period of time where they won't notice it for a long period. We have an amplifier.
Worse.
So we have an amplifier, which is meant to basically just take the actual tree and the energy it produces and then magnify it to a vast degree in order to sort of use the tree itself as the new sort of wormhole device, which is sort of what has to do with
the tree doesn't like give off that energy though.
Well, no,
It feeds
does, right?
on it.
Well, no, it feeds
No,
on the ore, and then can like the energy is inside of it, so it's like it's still filled with said energy. So if we're able to tap into it, we can utilize the radiation, which is what is actually needed.
Now, one thing I'll say is whether or not that would work will be determined if and when you get back to the tree and actually do some scans for yourself, because this is theory at this point. But you don't know, like, without actually looking at the tree. Because the scans that were sent to you by the Cochrans aren't incredibly detailed, but remember, their technology is a little bit more out of date. So.
What I know for absolute fact is we're going to have a heist, and it's either just going to be on Gehenna, or it's going to be both, depending on whether or not the first one succeeds.
Yeah, the whole
right
thing
now,
with
it
the
is
whole
only
thing
on Gehenna.
Yeah, the whole thing with Tavar is a backup plan.
All right. So the next thing, if and when that conversation's over, is I don't remember if you decided you were going to. I think you were going to whether or not to call Tavar regarding this.
I think we were fully planning to talk to them.
Okay.
Well, I think I proposed the idea of talking to them, but like I'm not in a position to make that decision.
Well, there's definitely 22 Tavarans who may or may not be aware of it now.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, there are Tavarans on this ship that I consulted about it.
There were 23 Tavaran scientists. One of them was super religious, so Fish talked to the other 22, Sumerian, to the other 22 Sumerian scientists regarding the situation.
Theoretical. I only shared the smart plans. I didn't tell them about the meat slugs yet or the stealing.
Yeah. And although,
Please
by the
tell
way,
me this meat slug plan is not like at the top of your list.
I mean, it's at the top of the half of the sheet that I still have blanked out for in case plans A through C fail.
Yeah, it's on the top of the sheet of things that he can do personally.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, those scientists, the 22 are there. They looked at you with varying degrees of shock and horror when you told them about doing this.
They didn't even like the tree sin joke, really?
No,
Tried breaking the ice with that one. Wow.
I didn't
So
like that.
what?
He said
No,
if they're going to commit treason, like tree sin, and I just died inside.
That is horrendous.
It is. It is very.
Well, I mean, hey, the joke may be great, but I mean, sure, if the topic may be horrendous, but the joke was.
Damn it, Tim!
But I would say talking to Tavar would be a good idea.
Oh yeah.
So to make sure that they know what they have.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be a terrible idea to wait until we're done at Gehenna, so we know whether we're pitching a backup plan or a we don't have any other source of Denzite at the moment plan.
In which my hunch says that the Sumerians will say, well, guess we're dying then.
Well, at that point, we can try to recruit the other cultures to put pressure on them. But we don't need to worry about that at this exact second.
I love democracy.
Okay, Palpatine.
All right, Palps. Somehow you survived.
It's my 99 luck.
God. All
So
right.
that's what galaxy we're in.
Did you see that cartoon of the? I'll have to send you a cartoon later. It's hilarious.
All right. Okay, so the thing I was thinking was going to happen today is not happening, but that's totally fine. All right, so I guess what that leaves then is the rest of the approach to Tavar. Now, did I or not Tavar?
And me throwing the sock puppet into an airlock.
If you do that, are you gonna try and grab him?
Oh no, I would tell the security officer to do it. And I would give him the free choice of either throwing it into an airlock or into the brig.
You can't keep me. I'm the captain. This is mutiny. Mutiny.
Oh gosh.
Can I at least have my popcorn? Don't worry.
Wait,
Soon
did
we'll
it-
come around to just get him anyways later.
Did they say popcorn?
Yeah, see, there's also some popcorn crumbs on your chair, yes. The purple popcorn that we had like 16 sessions ago.
Okay, then.
Obviously it's fresh, though.
All right. Okay, so I'm trying to find. I thought I wrote it down. I might not have. So there was the plan of stopping the ship a certain distance out, proceeding the rest of the way using the Ardestian, like cargo ship, the little one that you have. I don't remember the details on like how far out that was going to be and how long that was going to take.
I
It was
just over the
it
the
was whatever
mile distance or light year. Distance.
Yeah, I think because there was a certain distance out where the scanner would prevent our ship from being seen.
Right.
And then within that distance, it makes it look Ardestian. So to play it safe, we were going to park just outside of that distance.
Right. Okay, so yeah, invisible outside of 2 light years.
Yeah, so we're going to park like 2 light years out. Just barely over 2 light years out.
All right, so yeah, that's
I posted that cartoon in the Discord, the Palpatine one.
Okay.
People...
All right, and let's see, technical data. All right, trying to look up how fast that ship goes. So that was an Ardestian cargo ship. Cruise at warp 5, emergency is warp 7, maximum speed is warp 7.7. So that means, depending on the speed that you want to go, I've got it written down somewheres. Every time it takes a month between sessions, I always have to remember where the hell all my notes are. Like which is in which. All right, manuals?
Tim, which chat did you put it in?
Movies.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I don't get pop-ups anymore. I don't know why.
You might have to look at your notification settings.
Ah, I don't know how to do that, so I'll do that later.
Oh, technical data. There it is. All right. So at warp 7, it takes one
I've seen that
day.
yet.
Yeah.
I love it. That was actually what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it might be.
Okay, so at warp 7, it takes 1 day to go a light year. Now that ship's max speed is warp 7. It cruises at warp 5. And so if you went max speed, it would take you 2 days to get there, 2 days back. If you went at cruising speed, now the way it works is it's, I think, exponential. So that means it would take 4 days to go a light year at warp 5. Like it doubles every warp factor. That's the way I've had to do it. There's actually no official warp factor out there. Like there's no official star dates out there. So I've just had to set something for this.
Really? There's no official start dates?
No, and star dates don't actually work.
And the sources contradict each other.
Correct.
Well, yeah.
The canon sources contradict each other.
Because the warp factors in the original series were like...
They went up to like 16 or something. And warp in the next gen, so we're using the next generation's scale. Warp 10 is like infinite speed.
Yes,
but even then, it's not consistent.
They've only ever gotten to warp 10 once, and it killed the pilot.
No, it turned him into salamanders.
I believe
Voyager.
Paris, if I remember correctly, Paris aged till he died, and then like it retconned itself, and it was weird.
Well, no, then he turned into a salamander.
Strange.
Yeah,
it was a weird episode.
It was one of the worst of Voyager. Yes, but anyhow. All right, so what you have to so you're going to park just outside of 2 light years. So what you got to decide now is your plan for getting in and
out. Well, I guess the question is, who's the away team on this?
That's also the good question.
Oh, well, for starters, we have Vel's ship, both the stealth ship and the actual Red's ship that the cargo one they took.
Yep.
So those are 2 things we can use.
And haven't they been to Gehenna before?
Yeah.
No, they were
Not
to Castor 2.
Yeah. They were on a Red base, but you know.
Now, the thing about Gehenna, so Castor 2 had been terraformed. It actually had breathable atmosphere. Gehenna is what's known as a demon planet. Basically, it's as inhospitable to life as possible. Think just volcanoes all the time.
Yeah, Mercury rain.
A death world.
Mercury.
Yes, it is a death world.
More so than Earth.
Earth is paradise compared to it. If you Voyager, there was an episode involving a demon
I don't know. Planet Earth's a Type 5 death planet. You know?
Only in Australia.
I personally believe that Earth is the Australia of our galaxy.
Could be.
It's fascinating because if you talk to Australians, they're like terrified of North America.
Really?
For different reasons. Tornadoes.
Well, no, actually, pretty similar reasons. We do have tornadoes, we have earthquakes, and we get hurricanes. But also, we have lions and bears and like stuff like that just walk into your yard.
I prefer that to the tiny thing that hides in your shoe.
Yeah. So so they look at it and they're like, "Why are you so scared of our animals when you have this?"
All of those.
I have never woken up to find my entire yard covered in spider webs. That just happens in Australia.
I'd rather get destroyed by a creature that I could have a good story with than say, "Oh yeah, he had poison in him, died randomly walking down the street. Don't know how." But it's like, "Oh yeah, he was fighting a bear."
Well, me being me, it's a lot easier to shoot at a bear than it is a spider, so I'll take the
Very
bear.
true.
Depends on the size of the spider.
And yeah,
Some bears are actually just scared of. I think it's like black bears. They're like if you can actually scare them away.
yeah,
I would
black bears ain't
recommend
too
it,
bad.
but brown bears you're dead.
You're
But I
dead.
mean,
I
Grizzlies,
believe
you're
that's
dead.
tribble, though.
We have tripled. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Captain. Okay, all right. So you have yet to decide what you're doing for this. So it's a demon planet, but again, you're 2 light years out. I've given you how fast it was going to take at different speeds, so you got to decide what are you doing tactically.
can we make copies of all the stuff from the special session?
Huh?
Remember the Vel Squad session?
What do you mean
All
make
their
copies?
tactical equipment
Oh,
and their sun
yeah,
grenades,
absolutely.
gas stuff. It's perfect. Okay, so I don't think I got to delete my sheet then. I can just. Do I still have that on it? Oh, no. Can I have Vel? Can I just have Vel sheet again?
Did I take you off it?
I'll look.
I would say that that squad, um, not necessarily like have. I would say that they should be at least 1 or 2 of them should be a part of it because they've done something like this before.
You should still have access to the sheet.
Yeah,
though.
I do. I found it. Yeah, so Lieutenant Jenna Valvarosa. So she would have silenced phase rifle, silenced phase pistol, stun grenades, combat knife, tactical tricorder, communication gas mask, NODs, night vision devices, tear gas grenade, binoculars. I guess we can also get some thermite in there too.
Yeah.
Oh,
trust me, you can make a whole lot even better stuff on the Lexington.
Oh yeah. So basically, we can bring a bunch of that stuff if you want. Small caveat: she does just will kill any red. She doesn't care.
Yeah, after what they did to her dad.
Yeah, no, it's not even like a me thing.
so-
It's the character just will kill them. The only reason I think she hasn't killed the red that's on the ship is A, she hasn't seen them, and B, if she has, it's because she's fully aware that they're as close to a prisoner as she's willing to mentally let them be without being able to shoot them.
Yeah.
Now, are the other people of that squad under the same mentality?
Not as much, I don't think.
No. One of
Okay.
them's just even afraid and just kind of terrified of like everything.
So, Vel should not be a part of that mission then, because if we harm anybody on that planet, we lose our best insight to the Ardestian people.
That's sad. She has a perfect track record too.
What's her kill count?
Oh gosh, she's killed hundreds.
Well,
Exactly.
I mean, to be fair, the last mission ended with detonating a nuclear bomb.
Thousands maybe.
Yeah.
Also, some unfortunate, a handful of unfortunate humans, Lestrans and Farans that they weren't able to rescue.
To be fair, that was more of an Eric idea than it was. I'll throw the blame on
My
him, not
point
him, since he's not here.
stands.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't secretly suggest her without telling you her crippling hatred of Reds.
Yeah.
She will just kill. But I will suggest the gear they use would be smart, because if we want to make a tactical stealth mission, which I assume is what we're going for, basically running a similar situation to that would be good. So like going in at night, because they do have limited range. So this is just stuff for actual tactics. They have a limited vision because they see like 360 degrees around them, but it's like only so many feet.
No, it's not
and then it gets
360
blurry.
degrees. It's
Well,
like
it's-
180.
Yeah, but it's like it's a wider view. So behind they don't have as much vision, but they can't see super far.
Yes.
Um,
They rely primarily on psionic detection.
and we have the devices, which I don't know if you're updated on, that can hack into their machinery
Yes.
and access it with the correct decryption roles. And we're not entirely aware if gas grenades work, but it seems that it does.
Mhm.
as well in thermites. You'd be surprised at how effective that is.
Well, you found they do breathe from
They do
your
breathe. Okay.
studies of them.
So gas
What
grenades
effect
work.
it would have, you don't
Yes.
know. You never tried it, but they do breathe.
Well, no, we did. We just because we remember how we used like 2 different tear gas grenades as a smoke screen / cover for when we were retreating.
Well, then you didn't see what the results were, right?
Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely seemed like it bought us some time, though. Though, yeah, morals, my man.
So you said they have 180-degree vision?
Approximately.
Vision?
So they're detect. I mean, they that thing on their front is kind of half a stomach. It that organ does a lot of things. That big white thing in front, they see with it as well. But again, their vision is poor. So they primarily detect psionically, but if they're not actively looking, they're not really going to detect you, which is how they were able to get in and out of the facility there. If the guards were like actively thinking, oh, there's an intruder, they'd have been screwed. But by the time they realized something was happening, it was too late. They were able to get in at them really quick once they were looking for them, but when they're just sneaking around, they're really easy to get past when they're not paying attention.
Also, we found that it turns out that setting the phasers to kill kind of just vaporizes them entirely in one hit.
That does that to most creatures.
Yeah.
It's effective.
But again, we are not harming any Ardestians on this mission. I cannot stress that enough. And so the reason excuse me. The reason I was asking the 180 thing is because that's less than humans do.
What, vision?
Yes.
No, that's that's like
including your peripherals, you have a little bit more than 180.
Okay, well it's an approximate number. I didn't like measure it, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's probably around like 190 maybe degree wise. But anyway, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Yes, don't we have some sort of psionic blocker?
Yes, he did develop that.
So if they can only detect something that has a psionic signature, if the people are wearing psionic blockers, would that render them virtually invisible?
I don't think that's the way it worked. I think it was like more of an offensive thing, wasn't it, Coinless? Coins.
Fish?
Did we lose Fish?
I mean, I still
Hello?
see
Oh, there we go.
There.
Hey, the guppy's
Hi.
back.
My mic like unplugged like a quarter of an inch.
Sad.
So I was like talking and like, oh, it's. But yeah, no, bear mace basically for the brain. I can make a psionic blocker. I thought we already had a sort of one.
I don't recall.
What
Well,
about
the ship one? Do you mean? Because there's one. Are you talking about the one that was designed for the ship that was like in order to conceal us?
no?
No, that's not a psionic blocker. That's something that changes our shield frequency
Okay.
for their sensors. Their sensors
So
are different.
I made a psionic detector that I then converted into a psionic
Inhibitor.
inhibitor.
It's a weapon. It's not
Well,
like a shield.
I think I did make. Well, so there was a well, the psionic blocker. If you're that was made, but that was in the tubing. Remember when we made the containment things for the Reds? And we
Yeah,
added,
that's what
there
I
was
was thinking
psionic.
about.
Yeah, there was but that was like, I don't. That was like it suppresses their psionic output,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure how putting that on us would stop their psionics from detecting it. If I like inverted it
Mm-hmm.
to like cancel out psionics, we could try that, but
Well,
that would be like a
my
psionic
thought
inhibitor.
process was, if there's no psionic to detect, then like we would be virtually invisible to them if
We
they
could
detect purely based on psionics?
I think they do like have actual vision. It's just really bad.
Or is it a basically a psionic echolocation?
We can ask the one guy we have. We have a Red, don't we? We can kind of ask him the details. Red.
He has a name.
His name is inconsequential to the matter.
And I don't even
Red.
remember what it is.
And neither do I. So it's Red.
All right. So like, what are you doing? Calling him on comms or what?
Yelling for him down the hallway.
He's nowhere near there.
And calling him on the phone at the same time.
He doesn't have a voice.
Over the comms.
Oh god.
I'm gonna. Well, I don't know if I know this or not, but basically, I'm gonna call Mr. Crystal, who I have a little connection with, and I'm like, okay, can you tell him to come down here? What's that? You're in an airlock. What? Wait, why not coming?
Oh Lord above. Okay, so so if he is going to come down there, he's going to have to be coming down under security escort.
So I imagine that we can just ask him, correct?
He's going to say, okay. So it can work in both ways. If we pick up some kind of psionic signal, we detect that. However, we can also send out like psionic feelers, for lack of a better term. So it's both and.
Can you see without psionics?
Not well.
Okay. Well, I guess we can try to make a psionic dead zone emitter. But that might just make a dead zone. But I guess, it's kind of like...
It emits a dead zone. It might make a dead zone. Really?
Well, I mean, it's like we can make it so we don't produce a psionic energy, but if they send out a, echolocation, which pretty sure how that would work is instead of sending a feedback, it would just be like a black hole in space.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, the bear mace.
You're
Oh,
muted,
I can't
Matt.
hear Matt. How the turns have tabled.
Instead of looking for the psionic signature, they look for where it's not, and then just start blasting.
Yeah.
And then what is the default though? Would it be the echolocation type?
It's situational.
Like the standard.
It's situational.
It does have a low range though, that's for sure.
I mean, think of it as, so you use eyes and ears and mouth. I mean, there's a passive sense, like your hearing or your eyesight, where it's just whatever's there comes back to us. But we do have the ability to send out signals if we desire to.
So they can see harder.
It helps us in certain situations if we need to. Like if we want to communicate with others, obviously we have to send the signal out in the first place.
I could make a scrambler. It probably wouldn't be great for them. It's basically just the bear mace for the brain, but slightly weaker. I could literally just add a setting, because I have the device that effectively inflicts immense pain on them on a psychic level. I can just add like a more mild setting, right? Which basically just makes them like incredibly disoriented.
So are you talking about this in front of the red?
It's fish zoom.
And I'm going to say yes, he does. And I'm going to immediately say, how about not? As I said before, we are not killing, maiming, in any way harming anybody on the surface of this planet.
Not mentally.
I didn't know I needed to specify a difference.
the red is
Well, there
going to
is,
say,
obviously.
okay, I understand that there may be some violence necessary on some level. Obviously, my hard line is you cannot kill anyone. If you kill anyone, our alliance is over. Everything
Okay.
else be damned. Now, as far as injury goes, I would prefer you not to. At the very least, nothing permanent. If you have to incapacitate someone, I guess if it's either incapacitate them or kill them. Obviously, I'd rather you incapacitate them. But if you can avoid even that being a necessity, I would much prefer it.
Well, we have stun settings on these phasers. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
We have something similar, just to incapacitate instead of kill. Yes, that's definitely the more humane option.
What
But
about
again,
mental trauma?
how do you mean?
Like inflicting such an egregious pain on them that they're permanently scarred mentally.
He just
Like I
said
said,
nothing permanent,
Nothing
ideally.
permanent.
Okay, okay.
Nothing.
Temporary. What about like a 6-month recovery period?
What are you thinking of doing to these
No.
people?
No, I'm not saying
Okay.
that it's gonna happen. I'm just saying I haven't
Fucking
tested
jigsaw
it yet.
over here.
I can't confirm
only-
or deny the permanence of the brain bear mace. It's obviously there's gonna be some
There
sort
is
of
no brain bear
projectile
mace.
vomiting. What?
The brain bear mace is not going on this mission.
Well, I am obviously gonna bring it just in case.
Only self-defense anything that is going with the away team are phasers with that are staying on the stun setting.
I'm just gonna lean over to Chris and just whisper in his ears so the red can't say, he doesn't have to know I'm bringing it. It's not meant to kill anyone. And he's like, it's not gonna kill anyone. Physically, they'll be fine. Maybe some vomiting
Yeah,
or whatever
if
their
this-
equivalent is, but there won't be damage
If
to the
this
skin.
wasn't clear already, Fish is not on the away team.
So is Zach Thunder's coming? Okay.
I mean, if you're bringing both the shuttle and the cargo ship, you will need a second pilot.
Yeah.
Zach. Ah.
But Fish and Vel are not on that team.
Which is funny, because those are both Coinless's characters.
Yeah.
So, Coinless is not on the team. Sorry, Coinless, you can't join that session.
Okay, I guess I'll just go and play some Kenshi on that day.
Like, we're
Zach
trying
Thunder's
to
cool.
maintain a good relationship with this Ardestian,
Hey, all
and
I'm
you want
s-
to permanently maim.
No, okay, no, I'm not
a
saying
good
that's
number of
that's
people.
not my goal. That's just the worst case scenario. Like what I'm saying is if we go to that planet, I at least want to tell them that there is a chance that somebody might end up dead. Not because we tried, but if we miss a shot and it blows up a computer and then that computer explodes and sets off a reactor and drops something on a guy's head. I mean, it happened, but it's not our fault. It's the equivalent of just because my invention has a slight chance to cause internal brain hemorrhaging that might never recover doesn't mean it does. It just I haven't tested it enough, and obviously I'm not going to test it on the one guy that we have on the ship to do that on because he's our good guy, I guess, right? So if I'm going to test it anywhere, it would be in a do or die situation. So yeah. Hey, it's not like if you're so high and mighty about not killing or hurting anybody, we should just remove the gun function. That we should just rip out the kill function on our weapons altogether. Only bring exclusively stun-based weapons because we don't want any chance at all of accidentally killing someone. So better just cut out the middleman, right?
I feel like you've been in Starfleet too long to be offended by this.
Kinda.
Like, what do you think your character's backstory is? You're in Starfleet!
I'm a doctor, and I haven't killed anybody.
I
I'm not
Doctor, not a
offended. I'm
murderer.
just saying, like, sometimes you gotta burn a few apples to make a tree.
What?
Did you just say you have to burn a few apples to make a tree?
Hey, if you think that way, Captain, I'm all for it. If you know words out of your own mouth, I think they're great words to have. Let's do it.
No.
So I take that as I should just secretly bring the device and only use it when necessary.
Fish does not need Dr. Fish.
Yes.
You do not need to worry about bringing anything because you are not going down to the planet.
Ah, good. I'm not going. Wink, wink. Got it.
And neither is any of your fancy inventions. Unless I specify otherwise.
So you would say that you are not giving me permission to bring one of these devices of mine on the away
I
mission.
will have you locked up in your room.
Okay.
Under lock, key, and guard.
Okay.
Okay, so who...
Fish is now gonna secretly try putting his invention in someone's backpack. Just the brain bear mace. Hey, it's just gonna. It could be a clutch thing. I'm just saying, and it doesn't actually. It's not designed to kill anyone. It hurts them, but we haven't tested it, so I'm not gonna say it won't do it because apparently everything I make, even if it's not intended to blow someone's brain up, has a chance of blowing someone's brain up.
The Ardestian's gonna say, and you do want me on this mission as well, right? Just in case you get intercepted. So they have
Well,
a
now I
friendly
definitely
face
can't.
to.
I won't bring it then, because then that would be counterintuitive to the team.
Yes.
I figured as much. Just also so I can keep tabs on what war crimes you may or may not be committing.
Yes, because who knows? Your war crimes may differ slightly from the ones we're familiar with.
Well, apparently they're
Probably.
brainwashing people, so.
Well, if your war crimes are anything like the Cochrans are, you don't actually have any war crimes. They're all fair game.
Brain tase doesn't sound so bad now, is it, huh? They did some pretty. Hey, if you were on that one mission with Val, they did some pretty screwed up stuff. Even made Soon.
Okay, out of character. Did you just say that the Cochrane's war crimes aren't really war crimes to them?
Basically, yeah. At least that's
Yeah.
what he thinks. Also,
Yeah,
out of
look.
context, every single society at war always demonizes the other side, so you don't know where the truth lies in that statement.
Wait. You just said the Cochrans weren't bad compared to how bad the Reds can get. And you also followed that up with saying that the enemy always demonizes the other side. So even demonized, the Cochrans still look tame compared to how awful the Reds are. From the Reds' own mouth is what you just said. Is that correct?
I didn't say what war crimes the Ardestians do or don't do.
I know.
What I was saying is the Ardestian is saying that the Cochrans consider nothing off limits is basically what he thinks.
Okay. Wait. So you're saying the Cochrans seem worse than the Reds?
So the Ardestian said that the Cochrans consider basically nothing to be off limits.
Okay, that is not how I interpreted it.
No, I heard the war crimes of the Cochrans don't look like war crimes to us, which is the equivalent of saying, they may kill us, but we like cut them open and like you
No,
know,
that's not how I
reuse
meant
their
it.
organs as salad. That's what I was hearing. Is yeah, us Ardestians, we're way worse than the Cochrans. That is what I heard. And
Okay.
then,
I'm glad I
then I
asked for
phrased that-
clarification on
I
that.
phrased
Okay,
that
yeah.
badly off the cuff.
I was very confused.
Okay.
But to be fair, just I'm pretty sure Vel and just you would know this. They like dissected people's brains on the mission we saw. So the Ardestians do some pretty screwed up stuff.
Okay. All right. So there, personnel needs to be set, and the exact like timeline of the mission or what needs to be set.
Well, the timeline, because I figured the away team would be ready as soon as the. Am I muted again?
No.
No, I
No.
hear you.
Okay. I figured that the timeline we would have the away team ready as soon as we get into where where the Lexington is staying as they head to Gehenna, and we'd send them off. They have the 2-day trek there, and I'm guessing they would need what, less than a day on the surface,
Probably.
and then the 2-day trek back, and then we'd start heading back to Cochrane Space.
Okay.
Am I correct in that?
I mean, if you want to do it, that would be one way to do it. Yes.
The way you're saying that makes me think that I'm missing something.
I mean, you could be. I'm not going to tell you. All right.
So, Rab, Sim, am I missing something here?
I didn't actually. So my ear headphones have been cutting in and out, and so I didn't hear everything.
Not for me. They haven't.
No.
Him
Oh,
hearing
What
it.
I hear
Oh, okay.
is cutting in and
Sorry.
out.
So I was saying that once we get to where we're keeping the Lexington during the away mission, the away team will already be ready when we get there.
Mhm.
We send them to Gehenna. They'll take less than a day to get the Denzite and then head straight back. And then we could get on our way.
Okay.
Am I missing something here?
I mean, other than the determining the speed they're going to travel at, I think that's everything we discussed.
Because at warp 7,
Okay. So it's cruising
would-
speed.
Well,
cruising
the-
speed warp 5. Emergency speed warp 7. Maximum speed 7.7.
okay.
We planned it to be at cruising speed, so we have time to do it at cruising speed and then get to Tabar and then get to where we're going. So we don't need to rush past cruising speed if we don't need to. Like,
Okay. And
we-
really, if we
we can go a little over cruising speed if we want, just to shave a little time off. But like, we also don't want to be too suspicious.
Yeah, I was just thinking that if we go too much, it may draw attention.
And if
Right.
you're going at warp 7, you're going to have to start making rolls to see whether the engine has a malfunction.
Yeah, I think we were planning to do the highest that we could without having to do rolls.
Yeah.
That would be at 6.5. But even that is fast.
Yeah, and that probably would draw a lot of attention, and
Now-
have
Sorry.
some Ardestians asking, "What's the rush?"
Well, okay, so it's worth noting that this location is not official. So,
Oh.
Wait, what?
so as far as we know, the Ardestian Queen does not know this is happening.
No.
It's being done by-
You're thinking about Castor 2.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Oh yeah, no. This is not that facility. This is just
This is the heist
So, yeah.
episode.
Yeah, this is the heist one. Yeah, no. So yeah, we don't want to draw. We don't really want to draw attention to ourselves if we can avoid it. Like if we can, the more we can just look like an Ardestian ship doing routine stuff and walking away with Denzite, the better. Ideally, not even with them knowing that we walked away with Denzite, but just like if we do walk away with Denzite, if they just think it's our Ardestian vessel doing normal stuff with Denzite, then that's an acceptable result.
Now, another thing you said is in case of emergency, being 2 light years out, the Lexington can get in to intervene fairly quickly too.
Yeah, that was why we were going as close to that limit as we could.
Like if you move her at warp 9, which you can, it could be there in like 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah, we can rush in, do what we need to do, and then rush out if we need to. But the goal is to avoid that.
Sorry, 12 hours. 12 hours. Yeah, 4 light
Yeah.
4 light years a day. So 1 light year of 6, yeah, 12 hours. That's a lot can happen in 12 hours, but yes,
Yeah, but people can hold out like against an invasion for 12 hours.
depending on the
It's
size
been
of
done.
the force. Yeah,
It's been done.
it has.
Just look at Bangladesh.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, so it'd probably be I would say warp 6 at most. Um, and remind me, what's the typical size of a away team? Is it 5?
5 is a decent number. I mean, you can do more or less, but they're basically balancing. The more people you have, the harder it is to remain undetected.
Yeah. So 5 would be a good number, I think. Because how big was the strike team going to Caster? Or Caster 2?
5, 4 plus 1 pilot.
Okay. So, going to Gehenna, we have our Destian. I'm thinking possibly 2, or either 1 or 2 from the team that went to Caster. Ones that do not have a lethal grudge against the Ardestians, along with possibly Zack Thunder as the pilot. And
Now, how many ships are you going to take? The cargo ship and the stealth shuttle, or just the cargo ship?
I'd only been thinking about the cargo ship, but the stealth ship would be able to maintain its stealth to aid right offhand
Can we
if
fit
need
the?
be.
Now,
Correct.
one thing to note is it's not cloaked. It's just harder to detect.
Can we put the
Okay.
stealth ship in the cargo ship? Is it small enough for that?
Yeah, but it would
Yes.
take up room that they would need for the Denzite, wouldn't it?
Yes, the cargo ship is big enough to hold like a chunk that's more than 50 meters long, because that's how big
Okay.
a chunk you're going to need for the rods.
I feel like it's safer just to go with the one ship.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
what
think
we
that was the
could
original plan.
do is we could keep like the other ship like in like a kind of nearby asteroid area, and if it needed to intervene, we could have someone on standby in that ship. Not saying it would work, just if we do want to keep it, we could use it, but I do think it would probably be smarter to just use the cargo ship.
Yeah, we'll just use the cargo ship. And remind me, who was the best shot when who was our left-handed marksman? I can't remember.
Eric.
That
Eric.
was Eric.
Yeah, that was yeah, Naka hero.
Okay. Was it?
Yes.
I thought it was.
Yeah, that was him. Well, he wasn't technically left-handed, but for some reason, all his left-handed
Oh.
shots worked out better.
You mean like a pirate?
For some reason, I thought it was glue.
Nope. Most definitely was hero.
Okay.
So who's in the squad? Was what I'm curious about. Did we ever bring up who was actually on the away team?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking that either one or two from the Caster 2 team with non-lethal grudges. Our Ardestian, Zach Thunder as the pilot. Which 2, 3, 4, and I'm trying to think of the last person.
So is there any like core characters?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
So all I'm saying is you're definitely setting this group up to have real red shirt energy right now.
All right, so let me describe the members of the other team. So they've got their medic, Xander, X-Ray, Raymond. You've got the just a rifleman, Master Sergeant George Woody Hartwood. You've got Vel's dad, who was tortured, so he may or may not also have a strong grudge. He's an engineer, and then you've got an automatic rifleman, Will Dubs Warner. Like he's a big dude, short though, but he carries like a heavy, basically a phase machine gun. Now the thing to note with him is that weapon is not suppressed.
Yeah. I mean, how would you suppress something like that?
I mean, theoretically, I mean, you can in real life you can put a suppressor on a machine gun. Problem is, it does not last very long.
Yeah.
But so X-Ray and Woody both have suppressed phase rifles, and actually, Woody has a plasma grenade launcher attached to his rifle. I don't think we ever got to use that on that other mission.
Probably
We had a grenade launcher.
I forgot.
We never. There was a plenty of explosive situations where a grenade launcher could have been a good backup plan.
Well, that's what happens when you don't remember your squad's equipment.
I was under a lot of pressure. Okay.
Okay.
I was like hyperventilating the entire 2 days.
All right, let's get our crew picked pretty quick because we are almost out of time. That'll be a good place to wrap up for the evening.
So definitely the field medic.
Okay. All right, so that's X-Ray.
Oh, that's really good because he also has good hacking. I think
He does.
Yeah.
he was like the guy we just had hack everything, so he's basically great for infiltration, right?
And actually, because this is engineers would be a good to have on this mission too, wouldn't they?
Potentially. So this guy, he was the chief engineer on a ship that was supposedly destroyed, but actually had been captured by the Ardestians. They thought he was dead. The CDF Pluto. And he spent 12 years in captivity.
So, Rab, how do you feel about going on the mission?
I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't know how much I actually like. I don't know how much usefulness I actually bring. Other than like the psionics and the fact that I'm trained as an engineer.
Well,
Like I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of diplomatic.
you can also sense danger
Yes,
before it actually
there's that.
happens too. Um,
Yeah, so I mean, I'm fine with going. I'm just the stuff that I bring is more passive than the stuff some of the other people are bringing. Just be aware of that.
So we've got a doctor, a politician, and a turncoat so far.
wow.
What? That's the team.
And Zach Thunder.
Oh, okay. So he's the getaway driver. That works.
All right, so far you have Zack Thunder, X-Ray, Sorab, the Ardestian.
Um, part of me wants to say glue, but I'm not sure if that would be the best person to put on the team for it. But he also does have the most experience with the Denzite out of everybody. Wait a minute, don't we have that Denzite scientist too?
Oh, right. Yeah, you've got the vice director of the Wormhole Project.
Uh, well, then again, she may be like help looking into the Denzite afterwards. Am I correct?
Well, I mean, her ability to kind of know what type of like what specifically we're looking for, and how to grade it, and maybe how to communicate if needed about it, could be very useful.
Actually, yeah, that was specifically why she was brought for that purpose.
Okay, so she would definitely be going down.
Okay.
But Sorab, do you think it would be better for you to go or Glue?
It really depends on what you want out of us. If you want engineering, we're both trained engineers, but obviously he's actually been working in the department, and we have different focuses. So if what you want out of that position is engineering expertise, go with Blue. If you're okay with sacrificing some engineering expertise to get the danger sense and the low level psionic communication, then I'm willing to go. But it's really a matter of what you're preferencing, how you're building this team.
Yeah, but
Like he's the better choice from an engineering perspective.
So let's go with Glue, because I feel like if we base it around the danger sense, that's inviting trouble to our doorstep.
Okay.
All right, so right now you got Zack Thunder, X-Ray, Calvo, Hannah Coulter, the Denzite scientist, and the Ardestian.
That's 5, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Poor Tripper having to make a bunch of new characters sheets.
Yes, but luckily I have a week to do that.
Yes, you do.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make 3 new character sheets. I have not even made a sheet for any of the Ardestians. Now I finally have to.
Seriously?
I haven't made sheets for. You would not believe how few sheets I actually have.
Does Zack Thunder have a sheet? I thought he was
Nope,
just like
he
yeah,
does
he's just
not have a
He's
sheet.
just a 50-50,
Seriously?
isn't he? He's just like a flat 50 on everything.
Yes, that's what I do for all characters that don't have sheets. That's just run flat 50s because I don't. Because you know how many times I suddenly need a character that's like I wouldn't have made a sheet for them anyway. It's just easier this way. It's fine.
I'm fine with keeping Zack Thunder without a sheet because that just means he's you know.
No, there's
The
gonna
best
be
and everything.
no. There'll be stuff needing to happen. So
Yeah.
he gonna get a sheet finally. But yeah, so everyone is gonna have a character. So that means we'll decide next week, depending on who's here, who gets to control whom. So obviously Zach is gonna be coinless, and Calvo is Chris because that's his character. So that means Matt and Tim will have to fight over Hannah Coulter. Actually, we'll have to fight over Hannah Coulter and
The medic.
The medic. Yeah. So okay. That then for tonight is that. All right. Well, glad to finally be back into the swing of things. Glad I had all three of you gentlemen here to make it happen. So next week things should hopefully really get exciting. So
Yes.
I am looking forward to that. But you know what else is exciting? Extra Life. Hey Tim, why don't you take us away?
Yeah. So as we've mentioned before, what we do here on the channel is fundraising for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. The new year has begun, and that means we have new teams. That also means we have a new link for the Rabbit Haberdashery team page, which is now posted in chat. So check that link out and go there. Help us help kids by making a donation. Currently, the only people that are signed up are raising for Boston Children's or Oshai Children's over in Buffalo. So check the roster there. Pick a hospital to donate to, or join and raise money for the children's hospital of your choice. But either way, every cent that's donated goes straight to the hospital. Goes to the hospital. Doesn't come to us. Doesn't go to overhead. Anything like that. It fully helps the hospital with care, with machinery, with entertainment, so the kids can enjoy their stay as much as possible. Also, there's information on the page, on the team page, and on my page at least so far. There will be going to be rolled out to other pages later. Information on our game day event this year, which is going to be a D&D 3.5 one shot called The Hungry Dark. So, and your donations can directly impact the course of the story during that event. So check out that information. See how you can help with that, and please consider helping the kids out.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tim. You know, I always try to find a way to make a smooth transition, yet they always sound really corny when I do them. But hey, I don't care. It happens, so we're all good. But anywho, it was fun. Thanks again, guys. Thank you for everyone who tuned in to join in. With that, we will see y'all next week. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
Later.